The first time I ever flew on an airplane, I was pretty nervous. I wasn't scared to death or anything, but I was very, very apprehensive. Not necessarily about flying, just the entire experience of going through an airport, finding my flight, getting there on time, getting checked in, where my bag is okay, and do I have to do baggage claim and all of this stuff, you know, and redirects and layovers, you name it. There's a lot of things to consider. And if you've flown a couple of times, you start realizing that it's a little bit simpler of a process and not so daunting like it was the first time. That's my only horror story from an airline ever, but there's some creepy ones out there. Really, really creepy ones. Spook's gonna tell us about a couple today, guys. Make sure to subscribe to his channel and mine if you like reaction videos. And let's get into this scary story.
I was 22 at the time, fresh out of college, and eager to break from the world. So my parents set me up for a holiday.
Nice.
A friend was supposed to come with me, but she had recently entered an apprenticeship and needed to work a little overtime. I live over in the States, and my holiday was a trip to Paris in France.
Wow.
A perfect holiday, just for me.
I've never been international traveling.
And although it was an amazing trip, there were terrifying parts. I got to JFK Airport at 11:35 a.m.
Seattle.
And waited for my 1 a.m. boarding time. An hour and a bit to look around and shop a little, which I did. And it didn't help my already bulging luggage. But when I sat down at around roughly 12:50 with everyone else, I noticed something strange. I didn't see it at first, but I felt it. The hairs on the back of my neck, the slightly tingly feeling in your fingertips and your heels, the feeling that you're being watched. People can get this kind of feeling all the time.
Yeah.
And I know too well when you are alone, it's common. But when somebody is actually staring at you, you can feel it. It's indistinguishable from when something is not.
Right.
But I'm afraid I myself cannot put a finger on what's different.
It's strange, but I know what they mean.
When you get the feeling.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's just some unknown instinct. I don't know.
Possibly.
But what I do know is that someone had their eyes on me. I looked around,
staring at you constantly,
playfully at first, to not make it seem so obvious I knew something was up. Scanning the room, I found a man at the other end of the hall, standing with his phone in his hand, and looking at me. His face was stern, and it looked like he was a good 10 years older than me at least.
Alright.
He ducked his posture down, back to looking at his phone, while scratching his head and going red. As a woman, you can get these kinds of things all the time.
Yeah,
some men are weird and will doze off and look at a cutie, which I find flattering. But some men are just that. Weird.
Creepy.
And those weirdos can sometimes be creeps.
Right.
It's just distinguishing the two types which is the hardest, which is why I normally just find it all too weird now anyways. 1 o'clock.
My wife's like that.
We boarded
don't like
the
to
plane,
be stared at.
And lo and behold,
or gawked at
who sat next to me?
All.
The same guy. To be fair, a lot of seats in the front were taken, and the line to the back was sure to fill up a lot of the seats. But even then, why sit next to me?
So you don't have your seat,
I thought at the time,
like, assigned
maybe
to
this
you?
guy had the hots for me.
Possibly.
But what had happened next was a bit more than just that.
Uh-oh.
He told me he was a friend of my parents, and that when we got back to New York, he would drive me home.
Oh no.
Of course, no one would fall for this cliche act.
Right, of
Not
course.
Not even at all. And that says something. So I said, "Funny joke." "I'm not joking," he replied, clenching the seat rail. This guy was buff, and even in his 30s, so you could see his veins pop out.
You gotta tell the flight attendant.
Was this guy for real? "Mate, I don't know who the hell you are," I replied, seeing his face was going red at this point. He was stressing, and he was getting angry. He grabbed my arm, shouting something I can't recall. It was just so fast.
On the plane?
He tried to drag me out, but somehow I resisted going as far as the middle of the
Drag you out the plane?
Thank God, though. Another man, about as buff as this guy, got up and knocked him out.
Well,
He dropped to the floor. Security came to take him away.
Of course, that'll get you arrested.
It was the scariest moment of my life.
Getting in a fight on the airplane? Are you crazy? What a sicko, dude. Like, how do you think you were gonna get away with it? Give a lame excuse and then grab somebody out of an arm and drag them off the airplane?
USA. I've always been interested in UFOs and such.
All right.
My dad was a massive fan of Roswell, and he knew everything about it. So do I.
I used to
and
love
a lot
looking
more
at
now
stars
that he has
and
passed.
moons and
But
stuff
anyhow,
in a
my
telescope.
friend up in Canada said he caught some extremely interesting footage of a UFO landing out in his field. He didn't explain much about it, as he would only send this kind of stuff through letters. But for sure, it looked like I was going to Canada. I got a flight to Winnipeg, and from there, I would drive around 100 miles up north to his estate. He liked to keep his stuff private, which is why he sent it as a letter. I can't put a finger on why a letter possibly going through customs would be better than sending a text from a conspiracy theorist's mind like his, but I mean, he is an avid conspiracy theorist, so anything goes, I suppose.
Okay.
The morning I was supposed to leave, however, there was an ominous feeling on that day. I felt uneasy. Perhaps it was just anxiety to be traveling so far from home,
stuff, right?
But it was so subtle, yet so obnoxious. I don't think I can describe it to a point. Everything was packed, and I got into my car. I thought, you know what's strange? Whose car is that parked across the street? I've been living in my home for over 4 years now, so it was strange seeing a new car in the street. But not too strange.
Could be a visitor, right?
Well,
just a neighbor?
Wrong. Because this was a fairly pricey car. All black, tinted windows. But I didn't think too much of it. I just drove off to the airport.
Okay. You got
Occasionally, however, I did catch a glimpse of the same car in my rearview mirror at turns or on the highway. This made me feel uneasy.
Sure.
As for anyone who knows something about
like you're being
UFOs,
followed.
They are linked to the secret government officials that will take you away if you know too much.
Oh no!
And this black car really sold the idea to me. Surely not.
Like Men in Black.
I had around an hour and a half before my flight, so I decided to go see what was in the airport shops.
Okay.
I got some candy for the flight, among other things. Chocolate mostly. When I exited the shop, however, things became a little too real. Two men, almost identical, like twins, dressed in black suits and black fedoras, entered the shop as I was leaving. I kept my head down. They went straight to the cashier and slid a photo to them on the counter.
What?
They talked for a little bit, but I got out of there as soon as I could.
Yeah.
Whether they were just cosplayers or it was just a random coincidence,
that would
I wanted none of
very weird.
I boarded my flight, sat down, took a breath, and looked out the airplane window. The plane was getting ready to take off. Just needed to have all the luggage put into the cargo hold. But just as the workers started to give the green light to the tower, the same two men in black came up to them and started asking questions. They held up the same photo, and one of the workers pointed to the plane. Luckily, it was too late. The engines had started, and the plane moved onto the runway.
What?
Just as they neared out of sight, one of the men got out a phone and called someone. When I got to my friend's house, however, the place was trashed. Broken down doors, shattered glass, plates and paper thrown all over the floor.
What?
I found him at his office, head in hands, with all his supplies either on the floor or gone. He simply said, "They took everything. I've got a week here, and I don't know whether I had the guts to board the plane back."
Wow. Bruh. You telling me that your conspiracy theorist friend called you about a UFO sighting and the men in black chased you down through the airport and found your friend's house and trashed it? If this would be true, holy crap, man. God, this was a good story, though. It kept me on the edge of my seat, y'all. Spooked, guys. Make sure to subscribe to him, as well as check these videos out that I reacted to from him. Really, really good entertainer. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.